All right, old school Texas Tech. We are here to do our weekly preview of what is already started out to be just like last year, not quite as bad, but it feels as bad, honestly. After a rough start to the season, we're here to talk about the game against University of North Texas, the team from my hometown, Denton, that's coming to Lubbock, in a series that's actually 4-4. We have a 500. Texas Tech has a 500 record against North Texas, including my first ever game at Jones Stadium. We lost. When my father went to UNT. And then in '97 we lost at Jones Stadium too, I believe, to UNT. And then I think there was one before that. There was a like Texas Stadium or something that we lost. I can't remember. Maybe some of the historians, when they're subscribing and liking our channel, maybe they can fill us in on the other UNT loss. And then we had a close one for Leach, where I remember the safety Kevin Curtis kind of saved us at the end. You remember that game, like 2001, 2002, something like that?
They always give us fits. I think it was like a 13-7 final score, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah. That was before the air raid had really taken hold.
Yeah,
All
they've been
right.
they've been a thorn on our side for years.
Yeah, they really have. And before the season started, this looked like maybe it could be a trap game because a lot of people, including us, thought we were going to go up and beat Washington State. That obviously did not happen. A terrible, embarrassing performance. So we're coming off of that. They're coming off of a close win against Stephen F. Closer than I'm sure they wanted. Win against Stephen F. Austin. They didn't like overrun them or anything, and then they had a win down at South Alabama. And then they're bringing in our former coach, our former wide receiver and coach, Eric Morris. So kind of an interesting Saturday. We're most of the odds makers have us at about a 9.5 point favorite. So what do you think? I'll let you go first.
I mean, it's at home. We're going to be pissed off after what happened on Saturday. I don't think this is going to be close. I actually think we're going to win by a couple of scores. I do.
A couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, I do. I see like a 14-point win for us. So if
So
I
what do
was
you
a
think?
betting man, I would take the 9.5 points. I would.
Okay. What do you think the final score will be?
I see a 35-20 type score, 35-21. I'll say,
Okay.
you know what? I'll go 35-24. That's not quite 14, but I see something like that.
35-24.
Yep.
Okay. And what kind of game do you think it'll be? We've got Taj is questionable again. We got a lot of players who might not play.
I think we're going to see
What
a
kind of game?
I think we're going to see an even balance. I mean, we're going to see some good runs plus some passing. I see like kind of in that 450 to 500 yards evenly on the ground and in the air. And I can see Baron Morton hitting a few over the top. I don't think North
Okay.
Texas is very good on defense. I just don't. And I think
Yeah,
with
they
being
yeah.
at home, the difference between 2-1 and 1-2 is pretty dramatic. So
Yeah. We lose this game and it becomes like last year where you're just trying to figure out how you can get to six so you can go to a bowl
exactly.
game. And if we lose this game, I was if we lose this game, there could be some assistant coaches that are looking for new employment. I
Yep.
mean that's just the reality. There are just like last year, there were really high expectations, and that was a really ugly game last week against Washington State. I mean, I was listening to the sideline reporter level talking about how, there's only been a couple of games under Joey McGuire where we just completely laid an egg. And to me, it was, I thought the first year when we went up and we just got completely destroyed by NC State on the road, I thought that was a really bad loss. Not so much losing, but just the way we lost. And then the performance down in Austin. I mean, Texas was a great team last year, but to get blown out like we did was a terrible performance. And then I think the third time that we've just not shown up for the game, it felt like was last week. I mean, the body language of the players coming off the field, the body language of the coaches, it was not good. So this week, even though it's North Texas, and people who don't understand the history, and the fact that it actually is a pretty even series. This is actually a really it's actually a really important game because you get to 2-1, and then you've got Arizona State, who's playing pretty well now. They didn't nobody necessarily saw that coming, but they're looking pretty good. And Cincinnati, I think, are our next two games after that. If you definitely want to go into those games 2-1 and not 1-2. I think we're going to win the game. I think you said, what'd you say, 30? You said 35-24.
Yep, I'm gonna take that as my final prediction. I'm gonna say 35-24.
I
We're not
think
really, we're much better at home versus if you look at our road record, I think it's like 3-9 over. Yeah, I need to go back and look, but we're not good on the road for some reason.
right, right. We have had some big road wins, like the last year against Kansas, and then the Iowa State game the year before. But yeah, you're right. Statistically, I actually think because I really think that the biggest problem last week was Baron Morton. I know he did not get good blocking, but I mean he just really looked off, and his body language was bad. So I like him, and I still think he's a good player, and I still think he's got some, he's going to be able to contribute to the program. And I think we're waiting for kind of his breakout game. I think this could be the game. UNT is not great on defense. So I'm going to be a little more aggressive here. I'm going to say something more like, let's say 38-10, something like that.
Wow. Okay, that's a
Um, I,
blowout.
yeah, I think the teams are gonna be. I think the team's gonna be upset. I do think we have. I do think we have a good coaching staff. We haven't put a complete game together at all, and I thought Morton played terrible last week. That wasn't all his fault. Some of it was a blocking. Some of it was the receivers were dropping some passes. I thought the officiating was pretty bad up there. I don't think enough people talked about that. I didn't really get into it on the group thread, but I thought the officiating was pretty bad. I think we'll put it together Saturday. But boy, if we don't, this thing's going to get ugly quick. If we go into conference play 1-2 with our only win being kind of a fluke overtime win against Abilene Christian, that's going to be bad. That's going to be really bad. There'll be some accountability, especially with the amount of money that's being pumped into this program, and I still think we have a lot of talent on the team.
Hope you're
So
right.
I'm going
It'd
30,
be
38,
nice to
38,
see that.
10. You're
That'd be
going
nice to see.
35, 24.
35-24, because I still think they're going to take some chunks out of our defense with them, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I know that it sounds like that they've had their share of injuries too. And I wish it were a night game too. I think if it were a night game, I'd even be more confident. But the players, if you listen to players, though, they always say they like to kind of play early sometimes. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a really telling game. You wouldn't think Tech UNT would be that interesting, but this one's going to be just because we've had such a terrible start, and the fact that they're undefeated, but they really haven't had any level of competition, any high level competition. So it's going to be an interesting game, and the spread's closer than a lot of people expected for sure. All right, anything else you want to add on this one?
No, let's go 2-1. I'll be in a
All
much better
right,
mood next week then.
let's do it. We'll be a little more. Be a little more. We might not have to have quite as much coffee before we do these. All
Yeah.
right, all right. Take care, man.
See you, bud.